That's what I'm talking about. Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
All right. Hey, baby. Hey. Calm down. No, I'm joking. I'm happy to see you too. What's up, people? How you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to Coffee with Tim Black. Wow. I'm trying to tell you guys, today has been something else. All right. It's horrendous what's going on. It's this damn memo. This memo. All right, the Nunes Memo. The one that everyone's been talking about, the one that was supposed to destroy the Russia investigation, the one that would put the kibosh like that, the kibosh on the Democratic Party and the Hillary Clinton regime. The one that would exonerate Donald Trump, that would prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Trump was innocent. And that the FBI and the DOJ and former attorney generals all conspired, including Obama and the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC, and all against Donald Trump. And I've been looking at this. I've been reading. I've read this memo. I've looked at it. I've tried to listen with an open mind to people on Twitter who I follow, and then also ask questions and get input from others. Because as I look at it, as I examine it, and just based on the fact of what it is, I don't know how anyone could come to a conclusion that this either exonerates nor indicts Trump or the Clinton campaign. Of course, okay. So let me explain what I mean by that. All right, by some of the information on the on this memo itself. Okay, here's the thing. Lot of information here. I'm not going to read the entire memo. Okay, first of all, I'm not going to do that because it's just too much. All right, but what I will do is I will highlight a couple of things so that you know what it entails. Now, the memo is a 4-page document. It was written by Devin Nunes, which is who is a member of the House from California. He also a part of the House Intelligence Committee. Okay, he put together this memo, and this memo, among other things, Republicans say that the memo exposes anti-Trump bias among top law enforcement officials who have launched a federal investigation to see whether Trump colluded with Russia. Okay, and the surveillance that was done during the Trump campaign transition team, they say that that's what this memo does. Okay, Democrats, they counter. They say that the release of this memo, the Nunes Memo, is a counterintelligence, and it distorts facts of the Trump Russia investigation, as well as is being used as a political tool in order to undermine that investigation, and will lead to the firing or be a way for Trump to fire Mueller and to galvanize his base and to fuel this idea that the FBI and the DOJ and all powers that be are against Trump, and they're lining up against him. So okay, here we go. Specifically, the document alleges that on October 2016, FBI application for a warrant to monitor the communications of a former Trump campaign advisor, Carter Page, relied on a controversial private intelligence dossier compiled by former British spy Christopher Steele. Now, Steele was paid by Fusion GPS, a research firm retained by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee, to continue opposition research on then-candidate Donald Trump. Now, the memo notes that the government must provide information potentially favorable to the target of a FISA application, but charges that the FBI agents withheld their knowledge, that Steele's work had Democratic funding, and that Steele had openly expressed dislike for Trump. The memo also asserts that FBI Director Andrew McCabe told the House Intelligence Committee in December that the FBI would not have sought a warrant to spy on Page if it were not for the dossier. Okay? So that's sort of the crux of it that I've been able to gather, right? If the memo states that the FISA warrant, which was what was needed, which was given by the FISA court, right? That it was based on a Yahoo article, believe that or not, but a Yahoo article that was based on excerpts from the Steele dossier, which was paid for by Hillary Clinton's campaign and the DNC. And the actor, Christopher Steele, who did the opposition research, who put together the dossier, he's worked for foreign governments and Russians and things of that nature, okay? So that's the murky, that's the facts, though. Those are the facts that are put forth, okay? Now, one of the problems I have with this whole thing is I don't know if this memo is accurate. I don't know if there's evidence for the memo itself. What else is not in the memo? This is written by Nunes. So anyone can come up with a memo and anybody can come up with their own version of the facts and what facts are being left out. The Democrats say that there are other factors that went into getting the FISA warrant, that all of the facts, all of the evidence that was used in order to get the wiretaps, the surveillance done, in order to get the FISA warrant, are not just based on what was put in the memo from Nunes. Get what I'm saying? So there's more to it. There would be a bigger document. It would be like, I don't know, a 100-page document if it included everything. Apparently, that's according to the Democrats, okay? And according to like Adam Schiff and those who have read all of the documents, not just the 4-page memo that was put out by Nunes. I just want to say, like, I have no horse in this race. If I felt this memo was enough to say, hey, everything that was done was illegal. First of all, I'm against wiretaps. So no problem there for me. You get no argument from me going against wiretaps, particularly on U.S. citizens. And I'm not a big proponent of the FBI. I mean, who are these people who call us Russian bots if we say we question the FBI? Wasn't it the FBI that harassed and illegally surveilled Martin Luther King Jr. and tried to get him to commit suicide? Don't we have that? Yes, we do have that. That's facts. That is facts. The COINTELPRO and all the other clandestine operations that took place within the FBI. So you can miss me with the whole argument that if you don't support the FBI, you're somehow not a patriot, or that you question them, or you give them the side eye, that means that something's wrong with you, that you're no longer a U.S. citizen and you're undermining the U.S. government. First of all, the government don't need me to prop it up at all. It's got its own machinations. It's going to run without me or with me. It doesn't matter, all right? So I just want to make sure people know that's not where I'm coming from. What I'm saying is I find it hard to believe that people say this is enough. There's got to be more. I would need more. I need more evidence that there was Russian interference. And by the way, Russian interference does not equal collusion. I think it's going to be very easy to prove. I think it's nothing to prove that the Russians tried to influence the election to some degree. That's not what the investigation was. The investigation was that Trump collude with Russia to get elected. At least I thought that's what it was about. Is Russia on trial, or is I don't know? What's the investigation supposed to be about? Okay, I think they moved the goalpost on this thing from we need to find out that Trump was colluding, and apparently they can't prove that. Now let's prove Trump is a dirty businessman or he did business dealings with Russia. That's a whole nother thing, right? Now did he obstruct them looking into him? The FBI being them. Back to this memo, guys. Here's the reality of it. Most of the findings in the memo, or most of what has been presented in the memo, is not new. Okay, let me repeat that. Most of what's in that memo is not new. We've been talking about the Pfizer warrants for months. I even stopped talking about it. There is one unexpected aspect of the memo. It's the confirmation of a December New York Times report that the FBI first launched the Russia investigation in July 2016 after an intelligence alert related to Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos, not from the findings of the dossier, which were provided by the FBI later. That's in the memo. It's in the memo that the FBI's investigation began because of George Papadopoulos. This predated the dossier. That's an inconvenient point that I notice a lot of people are leaving out of their coverage. And I haven't even watched any videos. I've watched absolutely zero videos because I want to be zero influence. But when I see people on Twitter talking, the Democrats are only talking about Papadopoulos, right? Saying, okay, this proves that the investigation had nothing to do with the dossier. And the people on the right, whoever those are, because that can be some non-party people and as well as Republicans or whoever, they're only pointing at the dossier. So this is what we have, okay? Now, it's important. People say, what's this with Carter Page? From what I have been able to uncover, unrelated court documents show that Russian spies in New York sought to recruit Page in 2013. As you can see, this is far away from Trump. Trump wasn't running for anything in 2013. Had he even gone to that press, the press awards or whatever the hell that is, where Obama roasted him? I don't even think he had done that yet. But he was in the middle of the birther movement, but he was not running for anything. This is back in 2013 when they first started looking at Carter Page. Because Carter Page, they said, provided the Russians with documents from a class he was teaching at the time. This was what was in a New York Times and other court documents. This was in other court documents. They say Page plays a critical role in the Steele dossier, many of whose findings have not been independently verified and are vehemently disputed by Page and other Trump associates. It alleges that on July 2016, in a trip to Moscow, Page had met secretly with the head of Russia's state-run conglomerate Rosneft and discussed a plan in which Page would enjoy a massive profit from the pending sale of Rosneft if he helped to roll back U.S. economic sanctions in Russia. All right. So what I gleaned from that is that Page was being looked at independently of Papadopoulos due to, was he acting as a foreign agent? Was he trying to lobby on behalf of Russia to get sanctions removed? What does that have to do with Trump? Well, Trump, he worked on Trump's campaign. Look, what I don't want to do, and what I refuse to do, guys, folks who watch this show, is pile on without truly being confident in any direction. Was the Pfizer warrant obtained legally? I don't know. Or did the dossier, which only one, as I'm aware, only one entity even reported on the dossier, and that was BuzzFeed, who is now in litigation and being sued for defamation or slander, libel, for even running a story. And it was by Christopher Steele, a known anti-Trump person with ties to Russia, funded by the DNC. So it gets hella murky. It gets very, very confusing very quickly. I don't believe that at this point, that anyone who looks at this and look, if you come out on any side of this going, we're exonerated, either side, I'm calling BS, because I don't think you really can. You can confirm your bias by looking at the memo and say, hey, it proves there was something. It proves that they used this dossier. They shouldn't have used this dossier in order to get a wiretap on Trump's campaign. You could probably get there somehow, but I don't see how you can do that. I can't do that because I don't believe that's all there is to the story. And I also don't believe that this Papadopoulos reference gives the FBI it gives the FISA enough to tap Trump Tower. I don't see how you get much out of it. I don't see how you are firmly in any corner unless you're already in any corner. I mean, that's what I get from it. The average person who looks at this, if they have time to look at it, if they give a damn to look at it, they'll be just as confused about what's the truth as they were before they looked at it. Unless they just listen to the commentator who they enjoy and say, I like his version. Which is what people pretty much do anyway. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is I don't think anyone will be removed or moved from their position based on this memo. I just caution people not to get too wrapped up in it, as if this is the day of reckoning. I mean, if you didn't know about the dossier before today, I mean, I thought we already knew the dossier was used at some point in this investigation in order to get the investigation going. Now, according to the memo, even the memo says Papadopoulos, which that's kind of new to me. I didn't know Papadopoulos was a basis. Now Nunes has thrown that into the mix. So, look, believe what you want. I guess at the end of the day, what is it going to change? Are they going to? Is Trump going to remove Mueller? I don't know. Is Mueller being removed? I hope not, because that only extends this thing. Look, there's no evidence in this memo that I can corroborate. Up to this point, there's been no evidence in the Russia investigation that you or I can corroborate that proves Trump did anything. So what are we doing? Oh, I know what we're doing. We're not focusing on things that matter to regular people in this country who want what? Healthcare to work, who want jobs that pay a livable wage, who want student debt to not be so burdensome that it destroys lives, that want climate change to be addressed, who want us to stop sending our young men and women to other countries to drop bombs on innocent people and the drone attacks to stop, who want mass incarceration to go away, who want to reform our prison justice system, our prison reform, implement prison reform, all the things that we care about, all the things that matter to us. Like, this is just a total distraction from all of that. But yes, I want transparency. But what good is transparency when the whole time it's being exposed? You just got a bunch of people yelling, going, it doesn't mean that, and it means this, and what about this, and then what about that? That's all I'm getting from it. So, I'm sure after this, or whatever, it won't end. What I'm saying is there's no end to this. No end at all. It's just going to keep going. I said from day one that I didn't think Hillary Clinton would beat Trump. I said that Trump had tapped into the anger and the disgust for our political system and our distrust of the government, which existed well before Trump. Now they act as if Trump, because he approved this release, is somehow creating a distrust. No, mofo. There was distrust before that. Okay? I said I said that Hillary shouldn't run because Hillary couldn't win. And then she didn't win. And I feel like all of this has been a steady climb, a steady upping of the volume, so to speak, to cover up that act, to cover up the fact that that's what happened. All right? So I don't feel any different today than I did yesterday about all of this. There will be no evidence. None. No evidence. There will be allegations. There will be rumors. There will be news cycles, but there will be no evidence that Putin put Trump in office. Of course there won't be. But what there will be is enough to say the Russians ran ads. As if we don't run it. Everybody runs ads. Everybody has who they would rather have in office. But how you make the leap that Trump colluded with Putin, which is what this is supposed to be about. That's what this is all supposed to be about. And that hasn't been proven. And with all the noise, we'll never get back to that point. So, unfortunately, I don't think we can talk about much else today. There's nothing else to talk about that could possibly break through all the BS. We got corrupt cops in Baltimore. This gun task force. These guys selling drugs and robbing people, criminals themselves. But this story will overshadow anything else that's happening, at least for the next few days. This is going to carry through. I mean, the only thing I'm glad about is that this was done on a Friday, because maybe the weekend will water it down a little bit. I don't know what people think there's going to be justice out of this memo. Nah, the Democrats' memo is going to come out, and it's going to refute everything in the Nunes Memo. And it's going to be back to believing what you already believed. I don't think this proves it. What? I don't know. It proves what you think already. And then Rachel Maddow will do her expose, and I don't know. Wolf Blitzer is probably on right now doing his, or just went off doing his. And Sean Hannity's doing his thing, and it'll just be all cobwebs. You know, just lots of different angles, lots of different narratives, all leading us to the same place. Wherever you were is where you're going to be. And that ain't changing over this memo. This memo didn't change that for me. I wish it did. I wish it was enough to say, "Hi, got him." It's not enough to say, "Hi, I got him," unless you just want to say, "Hi, I got him." You want to say, "Hi, I got him"? Got him. Go ahead and say it. What does it change, man? It did. You saying that doesn't change it. It's what it is. So I hate to piss in your coffee. I hate to do it, but yeah. Some people didn't want Trump to be president. I'm sure you'll find they found that in text messages, and some of these people are investigators who happen to work for the FBI or used to work for the FBI. And Scott Strozak and Miss Page, and yes, you're right. But the bottom line is, did Trump collude? I don't think there's evidence of it. I can't say if he did or didn't. I don't think there's evidence of it. And this memo is not a smoking gun that's going to destroy the Democratic Party, but I don't think you need a smoking gun for that right now. Because they need to be rebuilding quick, fast. And look, guys, I can go on and on. You basically get the gist of this. If you want something sensational on this memo, I would suggest you tune into somebody who's willing to throw all their credibility behind Nunes. And I'm not willing to do that. And I'm also not willing to throw all my credibility behind the Democratic Party. I'm not willing to do that either. So I just don't feel confident in this. Maybe I will after the Democrats release, but then it'll just be a memo based on based on what intelligence. Look, everything's classified. You can only cherry pick. People say cherry picking. Well, that's exactly what the Democrats' memo will be. It will be cherry picking to prove their side of the case, to prove their own narrative. That's all we have in our political system is a bunch of cherry picking. People using the numbers, the facts, the statistics to suit their argument, to win their argument. That's what they do. To say that to admit that is just being real. So go ahead and get your views, get your likes, get your subscribers. I'd rather just say, I'm just disappointed that this is where our focus is. My focus is issues that matter to people. I'd rather not the focus be shifted to one person. In regards to what you think, Trump is just one person. And this is not enough to bring him down or to stand him up. I'm Tim Black. Thank you for tuning into this show. I'll see you soon. It's 6 o'clock now. So, yeah, I'll come back for Black Word today. Send your email to tim@timblacktv.com. No smoking gun here. Somebody threw it in the river. If there is one, it's at the bottom of the river. Next time.